welcome to part 8 of the Enterprise refit build-up. I've made a bit more progress on the Shuttlebay that I thought I'd share with you. We've got the side and back walls in, and we've also got 9 of the little Arsenal figures in there. As you can see, we've got one just on the edge just there, and then we've also got one just there with his arms flapping about in the air. I've put him there purposely because if I do put a shuttlecraft in, it's going to be around there somewhere anyway, so it's kind of a case of it's helping guiding the shuttlecrafting. We've also got a couple of figures on the walkway down this end, one that's looking as though he's going to be walking through that corridor there, and then we've also got another couple on this side here. At the moment you can't really see them that well. If I get my torch out, you might be able to sort of see them a little bit. If we put some light on, there you go, you can actually see sort of 3 of them just there. You might be able to see one through that walkway there, not really too sure. It is a bit difficult to spot them actually, especially with the camera, to be fair. But that's what it's looking like. All I need to really do now is just put the ceiling on, and I'm kind of hoping that with the ceiling on, that's going to help, once we've got the lights in for the ceiling, that's going to actually help light up the interior enough so we might be able to see those men properly. The other things that we've got to do is just make sure that all the lighting down the side is going to be working properly. I might need to actually go to fibre optics for those, to be fair. I was thinking about using the SMD'S on those, but I think it's 56 SMD'S. That's going to be quite expensive, to be honest. So I might go down to 0.5mm fibre optic. It's still going to give me the same kind of effect that I'm looking for. You know, and it's just going to be a lot cheaper to do it like that. And I've also got the SMD'S as well to do for the turbo lifts. So as soon as I kind of got to that stage, as soon as I got the roof on and I've got the turbo lifts working, I will come back to you. Got the shuttle bay all sealed up now, so that's fantastic. That's pretty good progress there. The only things left to do on this really now is to just re-drill out these holes here, because I'm not actually getting any light come through to the inside with those, so I just need to quickly go back in and do those. Could be where I've painted it, it's just partially blocked it, so it's stopping the light from getting through. So I need to get that done on both sides. The other thing I need to do is get the 2 SMD'S on the top there for the turbo lifts, and also on the bottom. Once that's done, I'll then be able to tulip both of those and the ones on the bottom and all of the SMD'S there as well. Once that's done, I'll then just go along the whole of the kit around the seams with some tulip as well, just to seal those in, so we don't get any light leaks around the ceiling or around the edges of the floor. Once that's done, I'll then be able to test the light going through these windows here. Hopefully it should look okay. I'm not sure whether the strips coming from both sides is going to be enough to actually light this up, or whether I'm going to need to place some directly over the top of it to get that to light up. But we'll take a look at that you know, a bit nearer the time when we're ready. But Shuttlebay, yeah, nearly finished. It's getting there. It's taking a little bit of time to get there, really, but it's just another one of those little jobs that, you know, it's worth doing right, to be quite honest. So as soon as I got a little bit further with this, I will come back to you. So we've got the turbo lift sorted out now. We've got a problem. Well, it's not really a problem, but we've got a little issue with the SMD at the top on the left-hand turbo lift. It does appear to be a little bit darker than the others. So what I'm going to need to do is just fiddle about with that SMD and try and get that to a better position. I think it's just off, just ever so slightly. The good thing is I've only just tacked these SMDs down into place, so I'll be able to go in and adjust those properly before actually permanently gluing them into place. And that was the whole reason for me, really, just to tack them in here so I could just sort of pick them and move them about a little bit. And it just seems to be that 3 of them I got right first time, and the 4th one I just need a slight tweak. But at least as it is at the moment, it gives you a good idea of how the Shuttlebay is going to start to look. We do have the windows down the sides that need to be lit as well, and also the little bays for the worker bees. And then we've also got the overhead lighting as well that needs to go in. If I just get my torch and sort of give you a quick show. So if we look at the lights on the window views there, so that's what that's going to kind of look like on that side there. And then if we look at it from the other side, you'll be able to see there that with the worker bee ports being opened up, that does create a nice little bit of light coming through the Shuttlebay itself, and it lights up the little man there with his arms wide. And then you also got the light there for the observation windows at the top there, which is fantastic. So I'm liking the way that that looks. And then if we look at these lights here, you can see there, I've only got a little torch here, so it doesn't light up the whole area in one go, but you can see the kind of light that we're going to expect down that length there. And then if we go to the middle bit there, you can see the light coming through there as well, so that looks pretty good. And then if we just move down this part here as well, you can actually see the light coming down the middle part. And then we've also got the little lights that we need to install on the sidewalks. I just need to go back in and drill those out a little bit more, because they have got a little bit clogged up with the paint. And then once that's done, they'll be okay, and I'll be able to get that lighting sorted out as well. I think I'm going to go over to the fibre optics for those, to be quite honest. SMD'S is just going to be too expensive to do. I'm looking at about 56 SMD'S, I think it is. It's either 52 or 56, I'm not quite sure. But whichever way you look at it, that's going to be quite expensive. So I think it's going to be cheaper just to do that with fibre optic cabling. It's taken a bit of time to get to this stage, but you know, for me, this build is kind of more about taking your time. It's more about sort of trying to get the detail right, you know, to the point where I'm happy with it. You know, so I don't want to rush this build, so that's why it's taken me quite some time to get to this stage already. Plus the fact these are the sort of really fiddly bits as well, actually, to be quite honest. I mean, the rest of it, although it's going to be fairly complicated, is fairly big, so that should hopefully help. But yeah, that's what it's looking like at the moment. As soon as I've got the last few bits finished to the Shuttlebay, I will come back to you so you can see what the complete section looks like. I thought I'd make a start on the Shuttlebay, really, for the cutaway section. I'm at that point at the moment where I'm just waiting for some SMD'S to come in, and also some tulip for light blocking for the Shuttlebay that's actually going in the kit that's being built as a proper ship. So whilst I'm waiting for that to come in, I just thought I'd try and make a start on the Shuttlebay for the cross section. Now, I've never actually done any sort of real levels of scratch building before, so it's taken me a bit of time really to get to this point. But so far we've got the cargo pod area done at the back of the Shuttlebay, and we've also got this one done here as well. That's the part that just kind of fits at the back of the elevator for the shuttlecraft. So that kind of that platform would just sit on top of there like so. It's taken a little bit of time to get this sorted out because I've never done any scratch building before, so I was scratching my own head to sort of try and figure out how we needed to do that. Whether I went about that the right way or not, I don't know, to be quite honest. But we got the job done, and that's the main thing. You know, it's all a bit of a learning curve. But basically what I've done is I've used a 0.5mm strip of styrene, bit like this, and then just kind of, I mean, that was a bit of a rough go, that one there, but I've cut out the cargo pods, and then just cut that whole section out. Then I've gone along and put that onto, or glued that onto a thicker piece of styrene. So we just had the 3 individual sections, and then once we've done that, I then come along with a thicker piece of card like this, which is, I think, about 1 mil thick, and then I've just glued the whole lot onto that as well. And I've also cut out sort of 1 mil strips of card as well, that's 1 millimeter thick. So we've just got, basically in between each of those sections, we've got like a 0.5 mil gap really, and then we've got this section at the top here that's left over. This part here at the top will hopefully have a few greeblies on there, but we've also got the lights coming down at different angles as well, so some of that space will be taken up by them. And then it was pretty much well the same with this back section as well, the way that we've done that. I've still got some more detail work to do on this. I've got some really thin, I think it's 0.75, 0.3 stock styrene that I'll be using to add some more detail to those areas. Once they're done, I'll then be able to paint them and see how horrendously bad that comes out. It might need to be redone, I don't know yet, to be quite honest. So we've been working on that bit. Not bad really for the first time doing a scratch build really. I mean, this itself is more accurate than the parts that you get in the kit. If you look at all of the reference pictures for the cargo area of the Shuttlebay, the cargo pods there are sort of 4 across and 3 high, and then, as I say, you've got that one there as well. Not quite sure how I'm going to do the decal on this part yet, because on the decal that you get with the kit supplied, or the kit supplied decal, sorry, is only for 3, so you'd have a 1, 2 and a 3, whereas obviously now we've got 4, so I'm not quite sure how we're going to get around that bit just yet. So yeah, that's that bit done. As I say, just need to get that painted and see what that turns out like, really, to be quite honest. The good news is the fact that this area and this area of the sidewalls from the kit supplied part looks as though I'm going to be able to use those, to be quite honest, which is fantastic. So what I've done there, as you can see, I've drilled out all of the windows on those, or sorry, all of the little lights. They've been drilled out as well. I've also drilled out the walkway there. This one here, that should technically lead to the airlock on the outside of the ship. Whether it does or not, I'm not really sure, to be quite honest. We've also taken out this walkway here as well that would go to the corridor behind the shuttle bay, and then we've also got this part drilled out as well. One of the other things that I've done, just to preempt everything really, is I've also taken out the doors for the worker bees there as well. So we'll soon see if we can keep this part, but at the moment I'm not sure. These 2 parts we definitely can. I've also removed the plastic as well for the walkway there. I'll be able to put the photo etch back onto that part as well, which is great. One of the other things I've done as well, if you look at this section here, I've removed the walkways from those areas as well. So what I'll be able to do is use some stock styrene to remake those walkways. What I've done so far for that is I've just cut out a 2mm wide strip of 0.5 mil stock styrene. That will basically get glued to the stumps of that walkway that was already there, just to finish it off and make it look better, and then you'll have the right level of thickness for that really. And then we've also got the 2 parts that go down this section here as well, which will be made from the same stuff. In fact, it'll most probably come from this as well. And And then hopefully once that's done, I'll then be able to still use the photo etch supplied parts that you can get from Paragraphics. And that should hopefully finish that up. And then obviously at the back there, we just need to put all the little lights in and stuff like that as well. So that's kind of where we've got to for this particular part. As I say, for me, this is slow going because I've never done anything like this before. You know, but so far it seems to be going fairly okay. Once I'm happy with this bit and it's looking as good as I can get it, I'll then move on to the Shuttlebay area, which will be this little strip of card that we've got. That will basically sit on the edge of that, like so, once it's done. And this, as I say, this part here is the elevator. Then we've got this little square here. Let me get something to point with rather than getting my hands in the way. This little oblongy area here is where you've got the strut that goes up to the landing bay. So this part here is effectively the area where the Shuttlebay storage area is. So I'm going to need to do across this side here is just build a little wall just to help to support the upper floor, and also I'll most probably end up putting some sort of bracing as well across this part as well, to sort of help support the upper floor as well, because this whole side here really can't have any kind of support really, so we can see right through it. So I'm not quite sure how we're going to sort of do that just yet. And as I say, we just get the elevator area in there as well, and then we have some more little walkways etc going in there too, possibly some little storage areas. I'm not quite sure. I really need to study the diagrams for that bit. And then on top of that, once we've got that bit done, we then need to, from effectively this part here back, need to build the landing bay. Hopefully, you know, because we're using such thin card and sorry, excuse me, because we're using such thin card, if we've got the space underneath, we might be able to get the lights in. We might be able to get the sequential landing lights in, and we might also be able to get the glowing yellow stripes in. Not quite sure just yet on that part, to be honest. As I say, we just need to kind of like look at that and see what we need to do. But apart from that, it's not looking too bad at the moment. I'm quite happy with the progress on this, and I'm just going to continue on this whilst I'm still waiting for the other bits and pieces to come in. Hopefully it's going to be sort of some point next, I think it'd be next weekend actually, by the time that the SMD'S come in. It's a bit remiss of me really to realise that I didn't have any, but I mean, there and again, to be quite honest, with the other Shuttlebay, I do need 56 SMD'S just to light up all of those little floodlights. I have tried to do it with fibre optics. It didn't look too good at all, to be quite honest. You couldn't really see any light from those at all. Tried it with a couple of SMD'S, and you can see a little bit more with those. I was kind of expecting not to see whole heaps of detail with those lights, but you know, some kind of level of detail is better than none. So hopefully they'll look alright by the time they're finished. So yeah, I'm just going to plod on at my own pace and get this sorted out. As I say, this is slow going. I think this is where, for me, the model is going to slow down some, really, to be quite honest, once I get this done. After this, next bit for me is going to be the warp core. Again, that's going to take a bit of time as well. But that's about it for the moment. I'm going to leave it there, carry on, get some more work done to this, and as soon as I've made some progress to it, I will come back to you. Got some more work done to the cross section of the Shuttlebay. And hopefully, as you can see there, we've got the photo etch in for the beams and the girders, and we've also got these photo etch in there as well. Now what I've done is, because we're not using the other side of the shuttle bay, I've decided to put the spare one of those in on that side as well, just to help sort of make that look a little bit more uniformed. And that actually does help to make the shuttle bay look quite nice. So I'm happy with the way that that's turned out. We've also got the little walkways in now that we've talked about. As you can see there, they're quite thin. So we've got the two walkways there. We've got those two little bits there, and then we've also got that one there as well that's in. And they're really good actually. They've really helped sort of define that sort of area there now. Because on the other side, they are so thick and chunky, it's unbelievable. We've also got the light ports drilled out as well. So hopefully by the time we get the SMD'S in there as well, that's going to look pretty good. So the only thing I really need to do to this part now is just get the railings in for the top section there, and also this one here, and I think this one has some on it. I can't remember actually, to be quite honest. If it hasn't, the good thing is I'll be able to use the spare bit of railing that's up there to go down on that bit there as well, so that will actually help to define that a little bit more. Once I've got that on, the only thing I have left to do then is this side here. Now at the moment I'm still not sure whether I'm going to be able to use this, so I just need to get the whole thing sort of built up really, and then see if that can be used. And if it can be, then I'll get the photo etch port put in there for the windows, and then once that's done, I'll then be able to primer the whole thing and then paint it. If I can't use that bit, or it might just be a case really that I might just need to cut this off and just move it up a little bit. I don't really know at the moment, you know, it's all up in arms still. But that's coming along quite nicely, it's looking quite good. So I'm happy with the progress on that. I'm just still waiting for the lights to come in as well for the shuttle bay that's going in the ship. As soon as they've come in, I'll be able to get that shuttle bay finished off, and then I'll be able to concentrate on getting the rest of this sorted out. Because what I would like to do is be in a position where I've got the cross section sort of built up, and I've also got the engineering hole built up as well, and then that way I'll be able to paint both of those at the same time and use the masking set for the Aztec work for the paint work there, and that would be quite cool too. So yeah, I'm just going to slowly plod along on this until such time that my SMD'S come in. As soon as they're in, I'm just going to swap back to the other shuttle bay, get that finished off, and then sort of come back to this bit. Not quite sure how I'm going to do the decals for this bit here though yet at the moment. Still sort of puzzling on that one. I might actually speak to Jerry at HDA Model Works and see if he might be able to come up with a decal set for that as well. But we'll soon see. I've got a little while yet really before I have to start worrying about things like that. But yeah, as soon as I've got some more work onto these, I will come back to you. Still waiting for my SMD'S to come in for the shuttle bay, which is a bit of a shame. I was expecting those in today, but they haven't arrived. So I've just been mucking about with the cutaway section shuttle bay. What I've had to do with this is I've put some plastic on the bottom of that, as you can see there, just to help sort of strengthen that back up a bit, because that, with the weight on the front, was actually sort of drooping downwards. So I put some a little bit of bracing in on the underside just to help it sort of stay right. I mean, it's all going to be glued in anyway from the sides, but it's just the middle bit there that could just sort of droop a little bit. So I just thought I'd take the extra precaution of doing that. I've also done pretty much all the same on this bit as well. Put some bracing in on that, and as you can see on the top there, I've got the support ready for the lift. That's not actually sort of glued in place yet. I've just got that in temporarily at the moment, just so I can sort of work around it and work on what I need to do. And I've also started to get the parts in there as well. Oops, sorry, the lines put in place as well for the shuttle storage as well. Basically, they're kind of going sort of like that really. I don't think we're going to get too deep in there. You might be able to get too deep in there actually, but yeah, I'm certainly getting that bit sorted out as well now. So that's starting to look good. I have also checked the fit as well on this part of the kit. What I'm going to need to do is I'm just going to need to chop this off and then raise that up by about sort of 2 maybe 3 mil. But I'll soon see the exact height that I need to raise this particular part up by when these parts are stuck together. Because this part here will eventually sort of rest on this bit here, like so. So yeah, I'll just be able to see where we are with that, and then I'll get that chopped off. The good thing as well with that is the fact that we've also got a little bit of photo etch that goes on the edge there as well, which is fantastic. So I'll be able to get that in, and that'll actually help to cover up the seam as well and help to strengthen that little bit up a bit more as well. So that's kind of cool. So I'm happy with the progress on that. I'm kind of happy that we've actually got the way forward on that, and the fact that I can actually use the whole of this side as well, because that I think to actually get that curve in and all of the other bits and pieces would have been a bit of a pain in the backside, to be fair. I think one of the other things that I might do as well, because I'm acutely aware that when you put this in the model kit, there's a bit of a gap here on this end by about 2 mil or so. It doesn't actually butt up on the inside properly. So I think what I'm going to do once I've got this bit cut off is just put an extra 2 mil in width in that section there, and then just brace it from the back end where you're not going to see it. And then, as I say, that bit of photo etch that goes in there, that will actually help hide the seam and hopefully strengthen it up a little bit more as well. And then by the time we've done that, hopefully that'll have the effect of getting this back end sort of butting right up against the inside of the door area. But that's about as far as I got with this at the moment. Hopefully the LEDs might be in tomorrow, and if they are in tomorrow, then I'll be able to get on and get the other shuttle bay sort of finished up. That's just going to take a couple of days to do, but that's about it for the moment. I will come back to you as soon as I've got some more work done to this wee beastie.